Remember that time Disney had the coolest secrets?
Today we are talking about the coolest secrets in Disney World.
If I were to classify a cool secret, it would be two things. Well, one, it would have to be cool.
Something is a cool secret to me if not everyone knows about it.
Two, it would have to be a secret.
Or if it's really hard to find.
Why does Disney hide things around the park? Because they have to.
So that they don't get caught.
Literally, a lot of this stuff, if not all of it, is all about Walt Disney World only showing the magic and hiding all of the stuff that makes the magic happen, sometimes right in plain sight.
It adds a layer of Disney fandom.
Sometimes right below your feet.
It's something that makes it unique. It sets them apart from other theme parks.
And sometimes right there in your heart. That's right. You. I know you feel it. You're hiding the behind the scenes magic in your heart.
Magic Kingdom has some cool secrets, for sure.
The first thing of, I think, the best secrets is the utilidors. So what are the utilidors?
Utilidors, the highway, not in the skyway.
Utilidors, basically, the way that people often describe them is that they're tunnels underneath Magic Kingdom.
Basically tunnels.
But they're not tunnels.
So Magic Kingdom was built on the second floor of a building. The first floor being the utilidors.
It's the first floor. Magic Kingdom is the second floor, okay? So they built the utilidors, and then on top of it, Magic Kingdom. That's a fact.
Now what's really cool about this and kind of the reason for existence is you didn't want a cast member from Tomorrowland to be walking through Frontierland. These are all different lands. You want them to stay kind of as they are in their own little world within Magic Kingdom. So this allows cast members to get from place to place. This is where kind of the whole backstage area is.
I am a former cast member. I have been down in the utilidors before.
It is magical. I can't lie to you. It's amazing.
They're not as magical and cool and secretive as you think that they are.
It stinks. Oh, it's stanky.
That is up front how I describe them. The utilidors are smelly.
Yeah, because there are a lot of sewage pipes down there and people carrying trash.
But I think it was amazing. It was a privilege to see it.
But it's a nostalgia stink because it's the Magic Kingdom.
One of my favorite things to look at in Disney World, it's forced perspective. This is something that if you have gone to Disney World with a nerd, they've probably told you about.
Talk about the science behind it, so I put on my science glasses.
Forced perspective is basically the tool that Imagineers use to make things look a different size than there are.
I mean, they're asking a bunch of Disney nerds to explain the science behind forced perspective.
There are two really, really great examples of this. One is Cinderella Castle in Magic Kingdom.
Do you guys really think we know the science behind it?
So where your brain thinks, oh, this is a castle, the windows at the top are window-sized, people-sized. The windows at the top are really this big. Because as the building itself gets physically smaller, when you're standing on the ground, it instead looks like it's farther away, which makes it seem taller than it is, which is really cool.
With the funky science.
The opposite effect is used in the American Adventure Pavilion in Epcot because the American Adventure building is actually 3 or 4 stories, but the forced perspective on the building, they use larger windows, larger features on the building to make it look like it's only 2 stories without looking weird.
I get it, but I also am not smart enough to get it.
This is probably my favorite and the coolest secret when it comes to Walt Disney World in Magic Kingdom. All of the money that goes in all of the fountains, all of the rides, all of the, little waterways, the money that, people flick into there and make a wish, that money is collected and it's donated to the Give Kids the World Foundation.
Give Kids the World is an amazing charity that gives children who have life-altering illnesses the opportunity to come to Orlando with their family to have a vacation together, to feel normal and forget about doctors and illnesses. And I love this organization. I took part in a fundraiser with AllEars and Defunctland last year. Give Kids the World Village is truly the most magical place on earth.
Now, A113 is a Pixar calling card.
Hollywood Studios has some very cool secrets as well.
I do not think this park has the best secrets. I'm a Magic Kingdom girl. So the end of the time, my dog she just bit my hand. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna start.
I would say yes, this park does have the best secrets because they're all movie related, and I love movies. I studied film in college. I love movies. Hollywood Studios is my favorite park. So I personally think that it has the best secrets, but again, I know that I'm biased because it's all movie related.
Well, it's Hollywood Studios, formerly MGM Studios, and MGM Studios was operating as a real movie lot, like a back lot, this whole situation.
I hope everyone knows that. Because it makes me feel very old that there are people out there that have no idea about MGM. That makes me sad. MGM is wonderful.
So one of the first ones is the cab from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's in the Backlot Express. It's just hanging out. It's just sitting in there.
Backlot Express is a treasure trove. You can literally find a prop from Horizons in there. Yeah, there is one of their hovercraft vehicles inside Backlot Express.
I mean, the Backlot Express actually has a lot. Just take a look around and see, if you're a big movie buff, to see how many different Easter eggs you can find in there.
If you go to One Man's Dream, which is behind the Chinese theater, the very, very back, before you walk into the theater, there's always costumes in there, and those are actual screen-used costumes that people have worn in the movies.
I think it's still West Side Story costumes in there right now. And then you can see Star Wars props and costumes in Star Wars Launch Bay, which is very, very cool. And obviously Star Wars is kind of a historic movie franchise, so that's awesome.
Moving on, we're talking about Galaxy's Edge secrets, which there are tons of them, stuff that I didn't even know. Thank goodness for Fry Bucket.
I will plug, shamelessly, that there will be a Galaxy's Edge secrets video coming to the channel very, very soon. Very soon.
I think my favorite hidden secret in Galaxy's Edge is the little Millennium Falcon, you guys.
That's right. If you're looking at the Millennium Falcon, to the left side of it, there's this very, very small Millennium Falcon underneath one of the pipes.
There are R2-D2 pavements in the ground around. They're more in the Droid Depot area. They're not all over the land. But if you go around the Droid Depot, kind of by the milk stand, over the restrooms over there, there are R2-D2 tracks in there as well.
Those little porg nests they have in the queue for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. If you look above your head in the queue, you'll see little nests, and it's porgs. And sometimes you'll see a little fur or something. Feathers, porg matter.
Again, shameless plug. I'm not going to answer what my favorite hidden detail is in Galaxy's Edge because you're just going to have to watch my video. So, sorry, but you'll figure it out very soon.
Toy Story Land also has a lot of secrets. These newer lands have a lot of little hidden details for guests to find. And still, the older lands do too, but the older lands, the secrets are more this is an element that we included to be super authentic and real and true to immersion, and maybe someday someone will spot it. With the newer lands, it's that's a movie prop.
So if you're a Pixar fan, you know about A113.
One of the best Toy Story Land secrets is the blocks. Over in Toy Story Land, there's A113. This is kind of an inside joke for a lot of the graphic designers for Pixar.
That's just a nice little touch. And I also think that's one of my favorite calling cards that the animators do in the movies, because that's just a little connection they all have.
If you look behind you when you're entering the queue for Slinky Dog Dash, the sign that you've been looking at to see how long the estimated wait for the ride will be is actually Buster's dog tag.
There's also the hidden premiere on the T-Rex box. So after you have gotten in your seat in Slinky Dog Dash, as you are pulling away from the station, you see the Rex box, the toy box, as you go off to the right. If you look, there's a little sticker on it, the sticker that you would see when you buy a toy from the store. It actually has the premiere date for Toy Story on it.
Rig.
So Animal Kingdom is my personal favorite park.
At Animal Kingdom, I feel like it's really hard to hide whatever secrets they're hiding. They're much more specific, or I guess intentional about their lands, especially because a lot of it is cultural, you know what I mean? It's hard to put interesting or weird Disney tie-ins or secrets just because Joe Rohde specifically really tried to be intentional and specific to their culture and not mess with it a whole bunch. You know what I mean?
Joe Rohde is the Imagineer who developed Animal Kingdom. He's like a legend. Everybody thinks he's very cool.
Okay, there would not be an Animal Kingdom without Joe Rohde and his earring, okay?
He started as a painter on the Mexico Pavilion over in Epcot, and he did so much. He even has his own character over at Tokyo Disney Sea. Like, he's a big deal in the Disney community.
He is scattered around the park in a couple places. One of them is that he is on one of the dog tags hanging from Pongu Pongu in Pandora.
Which is really, really funny and fun and cute. And, you know, hey, you have to stop chewing that. Come on, you know not to do that in here.
You look at the like rim around Pongu Pongu when you're in Pandora, there's a ton of dog tags. And it's supposed to be, you know, people from this like ACE operation in Pandora. One of the dog tags is a picture of Joe Rohde, and it's pretty obvious. Like if you go up there, you can see it. Look for the earring.
So one of my favorite details, one of my favorite little nods to Joe Rohde is in the queue to Flight of Passage, there are 3 sets of human handprints. They're really small because they're not as big as the Na'vi, but there are 3 of them, and they say underneath JR, JC, and JL. One of those is Joe Rohde. The second is James Cameron, who was the director of Avatar. And then the third is John Landau, and he was one of the producers. So it's kind of a nod to those 3 people who really made it all happen, made it all come together.
Next up, we've got probably the scariest secret in all of Disney World, and it has to do with the Animal Kingdom bathrooms.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. This next secret, it has the potential to scare you.
So yes, if you are unaware, all of the bathrooms in Animal Kingdom have locks.
Why are there locks? You know, who are you trying to keep out? Who are you trying to keep in? Like, why are there locks on these doors?
Not just the stall that you are in, but the actual big bathroom.
Take a look at some places in, for instance, Magic Kingdom, those Tomorrowland bathrooms that don't even have a door. Can you imagine? At night, do animals just go in there and party in the toilet? Come on, free water? Get out of here.
It is only the case in Animal Kingdom, so that way, if a killer animal ever gets loose, or maybe just a regular animal ever gets loose, you can run to the bathroom for safety and lock the door, and they can't get in or get you.
I hate it. I don't like talking about this because I don't like thinking about it.
If Mufasa decides that he wants to explore more than the Pride Lands and decides to take a stroll over and around the Nomad Lounge, that bathroom in that area, yeah, that's for you to be safe so he don't eat you.
Nothing like that has ever happened to Animal Kingdom, and the animals are very secure.
There's like not even a fence. There's a trench.
But that was just another level of security, and it's pretty scary to think about when you see those bathroom doors and think about hiding in there from a loose tiger.
Someday they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, they thought of everything. I'll give them that.
Another weird secret, and honestly kind of ironic secret, is that the Tree of Life, this symbol of like conservation.
Guess what? It's made out of an oil drum.
Yeah, it's ironic, offshore drilling, but what a beautiful way to reclaim that oil drum. Take away its past of ruining our environment and giving it new life. Got it? The Tree of Life.
Then they built the tree up around it, and they carved all of the animals by hand. Did you realize that? I mean, I know it looks amazing, but can you imagine how many hours that would take to carve them all by hand?
If you love Disney secrets and hidden details like that, you absolutely should watch the Imagineering story on Disney Plus, because that's all that it is. But I will say that it was crazy the way that they crafted the Tree of Life, because they only had a certain amount of time before the clay would harden on the outside of the tree. And there are these huge animal sculptures that they crafted by hand, and they only had a limited amount of time to do it. So as soon as they were stacking that clay on there, they had to get going and sculpt it, because they were very low on time. They did not have a lot of time to do it before it hardened.
Oh, how sweet, how nice. I do love puffins.
Epcot. Okay, so Epcot is, right now, it's not my favorite park to go to, but it is in all time my favorite park.
One of my favorites is actually over in Norway. The grass that's on the roof is real grass, and there actually are cast members that have to go up and basically cut the grass.
This makes me sad because it reminds me of Maelstrom, and I loved that ride with those freaky trolls.
There was a ride called the Maelstrom, which was all about Vikings and Norway culture and trolls.
There are other nods to Maelstrom in Norway. Of course, you've got the big giant troll in the gift shop, which is still there.
It's so funny how the Imagineers and Epcot loves the Maelstrom, right? They love the Maelstrom because they love to keep sprinkling Maelstrom secrets.
There's a hidden sword in the Norway waterfall.
One of the really cool things about the original Maelstrom that is different from the Frozen ride today is at the point when you would go backwards, like today, like Elsa sends you away. Now you get back there and Snowball's there, and your boat goes like this and changes position and then starts going forward again. That area behind you used to be open, okay? You could turn around and see outside. And then right below it, there was a sword that was stuck in the water. And they closed up the hole so you can't see the boat change position anymore. But below it, you can still see the sword.
Something else that's really cool, there are actually a lot of hidden venue and VIP spaces and event lounges.
There's the secret DVC lounge, Disney Vacation Club, Disney's timeshare program. They have a lounge upstairs in the Imagination Pavilion in the triangle pyramid glass dome. Ow.
There's a hidden lounge inside Mission Space.
Inside Test Track, there is a VIP lounge. There's actually an event space in there. You could get married in there if you want to.
Now, most of these you can't even book. They're not like, oh yeah, you can have this special event space for this amount of money for your wedding. It's which you can do at a lot of different other event spaces around Walt Disney World. But specifically here at Epcot, they're very, very specific. Like Disney has to be the one to open this space and go, we're gonna have an event here today.
So while we may have gone through all 4 parks, there's a lot of things that are just everywhere. They're all over secrets, and you can find them in any park.
At Disney World, they don't have mirrors over their sinks in the bathroom.
Generally, they'll put one big mirror by the exit sometimes, and then some just don't have mirrors at all.
Honestly, this secret's kind of irritating to me because as someone who wants to make sure he's looking good.
Okay, so baby girl, break out that compact or break out your cell phone because that's going to be your mirror today.
They do this for the reason of efficiency. So if there is a mirror by the sink when you're washing your hands, you are going to take longer washing your hands.
Probably the biggest non-secret secret of Disney fandom is hidden Mickeys.
Hidden Mickeys. Hidden Mickeys are exactly what they sound like. It is the shape of Mickey.
It's when Imagineers take the little Mickey shape, you know, the circle and the ears. It doesn't have to be Mickey Mouse himself. It's just the iconic shape, the 3 circles, and they hide it throughout the parks.
I mean, when I was a kid, there used to be this, I'm sure there are still books out, but I used to have this book that was like, here are all the hidden Mickeys you can find. And
They have books for this.
oh, it was above this place. I remember it was this yellow book.
This is the 7th edition. So anytime they keep adding hidden Mickeys, they're gonna keep making these books.
I mean, I used to love hidden Mickeys, especially when it was MGM Studios, and I used to try and find all the ones in the Great Movie Ride because there used to be a hidden Minnie in the Great Movie Ride, which I remember.
Another thing that Disney does that is incredible and like messes with your mind is go away green and blending blue.
In their rides and attractions, in their theme parks, these are specific colors that they have designed themselves. Go Away Green is basically a shade of green that they will use on their ride buildings to hide them.
Your brain is like, I don't want to see that.
A great example is the new building for the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride. It's humongous, but they've painted it that blending blue so that way it doesn't like automatically stick out in your eyes.
If you're looking directly at it on the right kind of day, sometimes it's really hard to see. It's the biggest building ever. And I've tried to see it from like hotels nearby and you can't I can't catch it on camera because of the color blue they've used. It's crazy that paint colors can do stuff like that. Basically, Disney's got a lot of secrets. They've got a lot of secrets hidden in their pockets. And I'm sure there's plenty of secrets that even we don't know about.
I'm not gonna be picky. I'm not gonna say this one's the best one because they're all really cool.
But in general, I just love telling people any kind of secret details, any hidden details.
That's what I love about the parks. You know, I love that there's history and there's depth. It's not all fantasy and make-believe. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go in to making these parks happen and making these parks run.
And then look like I'm really smart and cool. And the cool thing about this video is that you can watch it, learn all the park secrets, and then when you're in Disney World with your family, you can be like, did you know that this rock is actually shaped like the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? And your family will be like, wow, Brian, if that's your name, you're so smart and cool. And you'll be like, yeah, thanks, fam. Because you can steal all these secrets. We'll allow it.
What are your favorite secrets in Disney World? And what do you love telling people when you take them to the parks? Tell us down below.
Now go watch our episode on failed Disney rides.